Okay, hello and welcome to the channel. This is Hand to Hand Combat. I am your host, Justo. That's Justo. And again, I want to welcome you to the channel. I know your time is very valuable. This is Hand to Hand Combat, and today's title is How Much Humiliation Are Americans Willing to Take? How much humiliation are Americans willing to take? All right, some of you may think this podcast is about the wearing of masks. We got some recent news where Joseph Beijing Biden signed a new EO regarding mask wearing, federal buildings, on planes, and yada, yada, yada. The second bit of news that we've seen recently is Dr. Anthony Fauci came out in the news and said that we need to be wearing 2 masks. And also recently, Dr. Lindsay Marr from the Virginia Tech Research said that it's better to wear 3 masks. But today's podcast is about humiliation. Humiliation. Let's just take a little bit of time now and go over the definition of humiliation. Humiliation is the abasement of pride, which creates mortification or leads to a state of being humbled or reduced to lowliness or submission. It is an emotion felt by a person whose social status, either by force or willingly, has just decreased. It can be brought about through intimidation, physical or mental mistreatment or trickery, or by embarrassment if a person is revealed to have committed a socially or legally unacceptable act. Whereas humility can be sought alone as a means to de-emphasize the ego, humiliation must involve other persons, though not necessarily directly or willingly. Humiliation. Let's look at some of the psychological effects of humiliation on people. A person who suffers from severe humiliation could experience major depressions, suicidal states, and severe anxiety states such as post-traumatic stress disorder. The loss of status, like losing a job or being labeled as a liar or discredited unfairly, could cause people inability to behave normally in their communities. Humiliated individuals could be provoked and crave for revenge, and some people could feel worthless, hopeless, and helpless, creating suicidal thoughts if justice is not met. It can lead to new insights, activism, and new kinship with marginalized groups. Feelings of humiliation can produce humiliated fury, which, when turned inward, can result in apathy and depression, and when turned outward, can give rise to paranoia, sadistic behavior, and fantasies of revenge. Humiliation. Today's podcast is how much humiliation are Americans willing to take? Why did we just take the time unpacking the definition of humiliation? Because the global elite bloodline politicians just started a whole new level of humiliation. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here we go. China just rolls out anal swab coronavirus test. Let me repeat that. Again, the global elite bloodline politicians just started a new level of humiliation. It's all over the news. These videos are designed for you to do your own homework. Food for thought for you to do your own homework. Please do your own homework. Now, Business Insider, 17 hours ago, just posted the title of their article, China's plan for anal swabs to test for COVID-19 is not nice, but it's the obvious thing to do, says a microbiology professor who is taking orders from these global elite politicians. Another headline from the Washington Post. China rolls out anal swab coronavirus test, saying it's more accurate. Bloomberg, a title of one of their articles in Bloomberg, China's zero-tolerance COVID tactics now include anal swabs. Listen very carefully. These global elite bloodline politicians are interested and are driven by three things: astrology, numerology, and sacred geometry. As we today, unfortunately, look at the title, How Much Humiliation Are Americans Willing to Take? That's the question. How much? How much humiliation? Please do your own homework. It's all over the internet. And listen, even Snopes, the fake fact checker, is even saying that it's a fact. Forbes magazine, China deploys anal swab tests to detect high-risk COVID-19 cases. The question is, how much humiliation are the people willing to take? A wider human perspective. Gentleman Donald Klein described humiliation as a powerful factor in human affairs that has, for a variety of reasons, been overlooked by students of individual and collective behavior. It is a pervasive and all too destructive influence in the behavior of individuals, groups, organizations, and nations. Though it is a subjective emotion, humiliation has a universal aspect which applies to all human beings. Quote, it is the feeling of being put down, made to feel less than one feels oneself to be. Unquote. Listen, a society that suffers from humiliation is an unstable one. The cognitive dissonance between the way in which the society is perceived and the way in which it sees itself can be so great that violence can result on a massive scale against people belonging to an out group. My question is, how much humiliation are Americans willing to take? When are people going to push back? I pray for power for you listeners. I pray that the fear tactics don't work on you listeners. I am your host, Justo. This is the channel Hand to Hand Combat. Today's title was How Much Humiliation Are Americans Willing to Take? I want to thank you for your time. I know your time is very valuable. This is Hand to Hand Combat, and I thank you for your time.